Deputy Tóibín.
Míle buíochas a cheann chomhairle. Minister, small businesses are significantly under pressure in this country at the moment. Foreign direct investment is seen as the glamorous domain of the government's enterprise policy. Micro business and small enterprise are seen as worthy elements of the government's policy, but really the poor relations with regards to effort and investment. And many small businesses are in serious danger at the moment. This week, next week and the week after, a number of profitable businesses are due to close in the whole children's soft play sector. These businesses are being killed by insurance industry dysfunction at the moment. They're profitable in every way, they provide a great service, but because of the dysfunction within this insurance industry, they're stuffed. And the government has been defeated by the vested interests in this sector. These are good businesses, they are the livelihoods of people, they have all the investment of these people have been put into these businesses, yet they're going to disappear this week, next week and the week after silently, and there's very little being done about it. Minister, just while I have the opportunity, I'd ask you, is it possible that the Minister will come up with an emergency package to help these small businesses get over the hump with regards to the lack of insurance function, so that that sunny day when the government gets it together, they will actually be able to get insurance to cover their businesses? Minister, I will want to say just a couple of issues with regards to small to medium-sized enterprise at the moment. Things are not looking well for them. In quarter 4 in 2018, 9 out of the 12 confidence indicators show declines with regards to the previous year. We have labour costs increasing in the country currently, and they're being pushed up by the dysfunction in the housing market because workers are being forced to pay higher rents and they're being hurt in that regards. We have the same problem with the commercial property sector with rents inflation there. We have congestion at near crisis proportions around the country. We have legal costs that are significantly higher than the European comparators. We have the appreciation of the euro sterling exchange rate, which is really hitting hard on small businesses around the country. And because of the government creating this banking duopoly that we have here, we have two banks that have 85% of the market, and they determine the price and the availability of credit to small businesses. And just this morning we see a report which shows an actual reduction, significant reduction of credit getting to small businesses since 2016. Business rates are still ignoring whether or not a business is profitable or not. And businesses are really stuffed with regards to infrastructure around the country, and the infrastructure is missing in areas where small to medium-sized enterprises are actually more important to the economy. So, for example, the Midlands, the border region and the western part of the country. Retail is migrating to the internet at a fierce rate. The Irish are the biggest internet shoppers at the moment. In total, Irish consumers spent over $6.5 billion in 2017, and that's set to rise to $10 billion in 2020. And most of that money is leaving the country. So not only is it leaving the high street, it's also leaving the country as well, and shops are being closed as a result. And we hear just this week, with regards to ESRI, that the domestic economy is likely to lose about €100 billion of turnover in the next 10 years at the loss of 80,000 jobs. And we know that SMEs are by far and away more exposed with regards to Brexit than the FDI sector. And we know that those SMEs that are in those regional parts of the country are far more exposed. Now, the government has been involved in the development of some level of mitigation with regards to this, but I would contend, and I would say most of the people in small to medium-sized enterprise would contend, this is absolutely nowhere near enough to deal with the challenges that they're facing at the moment.
Minister Breen, please.
Indeed, Ceann Comhairle, I want to thank Deputy Tóibín for raising this issue. It's a very important issue. In fact, I was appointed Minister for Small Business back in 2016, and my responsibilities have advanced more since then. But can I say to you, my department and the agencies have developed a suite of advisory and financial Brexit supports for businesses. And we're very conscious of the importance of small businesses out there. Some of the questions you raised, maybe I'll deal with them afterwards in my reply, Deputy Tóibín. But at the moment, can I just say to you, focus on Brexit first of all, because the exposure to the UK is likely to mean customs procedures, duties, and of course consequent delays in moving and receiving goods, which is critical for SMEs. And this is likely to impact also on the business's cash flow. For some businesses, the impact of currency fluctuation, as you've said yourself, is already being felt. To alleviate some of these cash flow impacts, the government is introducing a number of measures, including a system for postponed accounting for all traders for a period after Brexit, so businesses will not have to pay VAT at the point of import of their goods coming in from the UK. Of course, the €300 million Brexit loan scheme provides working capital funding to businesses to innovate, to change and to adapt in response to the Brexit-related challenges. Once sanctioned, these loans can be drawn down if and when needed, giving businesses peace of mind to focusing on navigating their businesses through Brexit. Beyond this, my department and the agencies are fully engaged in preparing for Brexit and have participated in a Government of Ireland series of Getting Ireland Brexit-ready events throughout the country. As part of the awareness-raising activities, Enterprise Ireland continues to roll out regional Brexit advisory clinics. The 31 local enterprise offices, along with Intertrade Ireland, are offering a range of Brexit-focused supports to businesses, including those engaged in cross-border trade with Northern Ireland. And of course, the LEOs offer Brexit supports to micro and small businesses throughout through their LEO nationwide network, including tailor-made mentoring to address Brexit-related business challenges and targeted training on specific Brexit challenges. Additional business advisors are also recruited to 31 local enterprise offices to work with businesses to develop and implement a Brexit contingency growth plans, which will incorporate job and export growth markets. Businesses should contact their nearest LEO enterprise office or their Intertrade Ireland office, where they can find out more details on a voucher, which is worth €2,250, to help businesses navigate their way through Brexit, which can be used towards professional advice on Brexit issues such as customs, logistics, and of course financial issues such as currency management. Enterprise Ireland and ITI also offer vouchers worth up to €5,000 and €5,000 respectively, which will enable companies to implement a change identified in the Brexit plan. AI has also been running a Prepare for Brexit communications campaign. Some of you will have heard that on local radios and national radio, featuring the Brexit SME scorecard and the Prepare for Brexit website, which offers information on likely impacts of Brexit on Irish businesses and allows business to self-assess their Brexit responses. Can I turn to some of the questions you asked? In the Intertrade Ireland Brexit Advisory Service provides advice for SMEs on dealing with changes in cross-border trading relationships. And as part of their services, ITI have organised a series of awareness events focused on improving knowledge of customs processes and procedures and identifying actions that can be taken in areas such as logistics and supply chain management. Business can also avail of the customs training through Enterprise Ireland, ITI and the LEOs, where they can learn about customs concepts and procedures which will prepare them for a post-Brexit scenario. The retail sector, as you've rightly said, Deputy Tóibín, is undergoing an exciting but challenging transformation as the digital economy provides a different retail experience for consumers across Ireland and the EU. Mr Humphreys, as chair of the Retail Consultation Forum, launched an online retail scheme in September 2018, which came about because of a forum working group on the issue of digital economy. My department is working closely with the forum over the last 2 years to develop a scheme in line with the needs of the sector, and I wish to acknowledge the work being done by the forum itself. And I'll answer some of your questions in the reply, Deputy Tóibín.
Deputy Tóibín.
Forgive me, Minister, if just, the gravity of €100 billion lost to the economy over 10 years, the gravity of 80,000 jobs being lost to the economy over that period of time, when you contrast it with a loan scheme, which is the centrepiece, a €300 million loan scheme at 4% if sanctioned to business, a voucher scheme here and there, a diary of government events and public meetings around the country, a website, some online courses, a series of information talks about technical matters, and an Intertrade Ireland that is capped with regards to the amount of staff that it can employ in this time of crisis. If you juxtapose the gravity of the situation and the government's response to it, I think you'll find that it's nowhere near good enough at all. And in many ways, I think that the government should actually see this as an opportunity to create a step change with regards how it deals with small to medium-sized enterprise in this country. Now, business functions to the path of least resistance. So the government starts to look at what are the elements that are resisting development around the country at the moment. And any business will tell you that it is, first of all, real insurance reform is radically needed at the moment. Real banking reform that actually allows for natural credit to flow within the society. But obviously infrastructure is really important. And we have this ludicrous situation where we're losing services from Rosslare into France at the moment. The government should be looking actually to invest in Rosslare, Cork, Waterford, Drogheda and Shannon Foynes ports at the moment. They should be investing in the road and rail line. One of the crazy situations was 2 weeks ago, the Taoiseach was here talking about €25 million being withdrawn from the Derry to Dublin motorway, at a time when actually the north-south infrastructure should be really being developed, looking for real convergence north and south right across the business world. Extra lorry parking and inspection posts here in Ireland and fighting for them in the likes of Cherbourg as well. But I will say one thing, in my party aim to want to see this government take small to medium-sized enterprise seriously in future, and we're actually saying that small to medium-sized enterprise should have a representative at the cabinet table rather than just being dealt with by a junior minister.
Mr. Breen, to conclude on this matter, please.
Small to medium enterprises are an integral part of the Irish business network. Only this morning I launched SMEE, which is Small to Medium Enterprise and Entrepreneur Consultation Group, in conjunction with a report that's been presented at the moment by the OECD. We're preparing in relation to Ireland and the SME sector. A very important report that will be, I'm attending a working group in Paris the next week in relation to that. I expect that report and recommendations in that report, talking about the past, the present and in the future as well. And that report will be published in Q3, hopefully, of this year by the OECD, where there will be recommendations. And I have to say to you, I had a huge turnout of businesses, SMEs, agencies and government agencies today who are very active in this area and want to get involved in this consultation process. SMEs, as you've rightly pointed out, are really important in relation to the economy. Why? Because they're located in the regions, they're located in the counties, they're located right in the communities where you have many micro-enterprises. That's what the local enterprises do. And they are giving a lot of mentoring and help at the moment in relation to small to medium enterprises. In relation to just a merely €300 million loan scheme, even today, Minister Humphreys launched a future loan scheme with Minister Creed, which will help SMEs and the farming sector to prepare for the future as well. So there's a lot happening out there in relation to this, and will continue as, in the future as well, irrespective of Brexit, because of the fact we know it's the indigenous industries, the SMEs, that's going to be affected by Brexit in the future. So, I mean, even the Craft Council that we allocated in the region of, I think it's €1.8 million investment was announced to the Craft Council recently as well. Additional €2.75 million for Enterprise Ireland. So that's all part of us moving forward in relation to helping the SME sector, because the SME sector is really important.
On the issue of the insurance for small children's places, is there any way that an emergency action?
I will follow up on that for you, Deputy Tóibín. That is a very important area. I will look at that, the whole insurance area. It's not an issue for our department, it's an issue for Minister of State Darcy, but you've raised this issue and I will follow up on Minister Darcy.
Thank you very much, Minister. Thank you both. That concludes